All right, welcome to our class for this week. And the topic we have this week is going to be taking our cash flow budget and developing what we call an enterprise budget. Now, an enterprise budget is going to focus on, of course, not multiple commodities. If you've got several types of businesses as part of your business, you're going to separate each one into what we call enterprises. Now, this enterprise is going to sometimes also be referred to as a profit center. So the idea is, in your business, what is the individual area that makes you a stream of money? So if you're in livestock production, that could be the cow-calf herd, and that could be a feeder calf, or separately that could be a replacement heifer operation. Corn producers are going to have their corn crop and their acres and their yield all in one, what we call enterprise. So in our example, we've got a feeder slab operation for feeder hogs that's going to be the enterprise. What we're going to do is take all of our financial records so far, and we're going to put them in the form of what we call, again, an enterprise budget. Now, what's the purpose of this budget? Well, it's to take a look at the enterprise, as we talked about before, a single unit, but it's also to break it down into cost per unit. Now, for our business, it's going to be probably make sense to be cost per head, so we call that an animal unit, or it also could make sense to say cost per pound sold. So the idea is that we've got a business, and every time we try to expand it and we have more hogs or less hogs, then there's a certain budget that goes along with that. Now, when you do an enterprise budget, there's really two sections of cost. Well, revenue, of course, is going to be the income, but cost is divided into variable cost and fixed cost. We've kind of already ventured into that a little bit. When we did our cost of goods sold, that's kind of like a variable cost. When we did our operating cost, that's much like a fixed cost. Except an enterprise budget has a really set structure. So the idea in this week is I want to show you, first of all, what is that set structure, a little bit about how you can learn about that, so you'll have more resources there. And then the next part is going to be a homework where you apply that concept to the same cash flow hog operation we've been working on. All right, let's take a look at the week and the homework. All right, when you get into your week, you're going to see the homework, or see first, the key from our cash flow budget from the previous week's 5. So you can take a look at that if you need to. That way help make sure you've caught up with the work we've done. Now here's the enterprise budget section. I've got several links here that you can open up and take a look, but I'm going to jump to the first one right here, this video. So if I pull this video up, let me just go ahead and open that. This is going to be a video that's going to outline for you the idea about how enterprise budgets work, and it's this same sheet that we're looking at here. So I want you to watch this video first and you'll learn more about enterprise budgets. Now, when you come to the enterprise budgets page, everything's organized by district. So I pulled up District 11, which I believe is the Coastal Bend area. But if you go through here, you'll see different budgets already done. So if you're a producer and you have any of these commodities, this is a great way for you to pull this up and look at what the normal revenue and cost expectations are. You can then change the values based on your needs. In fact, let's pull up the cow-calf budget here. All right, so pulling up the cow-calf budget, seeing where it can be used. This is looking at 2019 estimated costs. So if you're a producer, again, moving into that realm, and if you're looking at running an operation, they have this whole thing broken down into 100 animal units, which in this case is 100 breeding females. So if you were to have 200 or you were to have 50, you could kind of adjust this based on that. But we're coming in here, and a lot of this is going to be done per unit, so really it doesn't matter your size. If you have a cow-calf operation, they're estimating that 43.43 will be bull calves you castrate to steers, 43% will be heifers, so you're looking at 86% there of calf crop. The other remaining 14% will either be retained females or will be calves that aren't born. In other words, we have a loss there. So only getting 86% of our offspring to sell. Now, we're also going to be culling cows, 15.15, and then 0.01 would be the cull for bulls. This will be the size. Basically, it looks like to me those are wean, 480 or 450, and then you're looking at a 9-weight, 900-pound cow, and then you're looking at a 1,600-pound bull. Now, this CWT, you're going to see in the homework too, this is called a cut weight. That represents 100 pounds. So per hundredweight or per cut weight, those are the same terms. So $148 again per hundredweight, and so we'll go through that. It's $1.48 a pound if you're doing the math there. 138 is what those heifers will bring, so you end up with an idea about income sources, total that up, and then this is what the total enterprise would be based on the 100 head that we're talking about. So this is per animal unit right here that we're looking at. And so that's what we're looking at each cow able to hopefully bring. Now, you could continue to go here. In our operation, we're going to do animal unit. We're also going to do per pound sold, just a second level of our enterprise. All right, moving through here, now you can see we get right into variable cost. Things like feed, vet medicine, fuel, repairs, some of this stuff they consider to be variable depending on how big your operation is. You'll use these units, and so they go ahead and give you what the value is per unit. So, for example, in marketing expense, we're going to spend, for one animal, we're going to spend about $31. This is a rate they've come up with through past records. We're kind of doing a cash flow budget estimate. But once you have records set, which is what we're kind of doing in ours, then you're able to come back and look at what that actually costs. So they're saying you're going to spend 31 bucks in marketing per animal unit, which in this case is a breeding female. All right. So it continues all the way through. You're looking at 2 rolls of hay per cow. You're looking at cottonseed 100 weight per cow, 40 pounds of salt and mineral per cow. You see how the deal works, moving all the way through. So these are our total expenses based on quantity times price. So that's what the total cost for each cow would be. So we're looking at $263 in just variable cost to take care of this one cow. And per 100, that's going to add up to be this much money that we may need. All right, we go through here now. We've got planned returns above variable cost. That's a pretty normal enterprise line. You actually have already seen something very much like this. We called it gross margin in the income statement. The idea is here, variable cost is looked at maybe a little bit differently, but the same concept. Gross income minus what we think directly it'll cost to get that income, and that's called returns above variable cost in a budget. What was it called in the income statement? Gross margin. All right, then we're going to be able to come through here. It does a little math for us right away. It says, well, what would it be per 100 weight to get revenue to cover this? Well, $46.53 per 100 weight is what we would need to cover that. Now that's going to kind of be compared through some of this stuff. We've got plenty of room. $148 per 100, $138 what we're bringing for those. Even the culls bring $49 and $69 per 100 weight. So on average, we're only needing $46.53 per 100. Now how is that calculated? The total variable cost per cow divided by what she's producing in 100 weights. And we're going to get that number. All right, so in other words, that's really cheap, and we're making money right here, so it makes sense. Oh, there's our variable cost, sorry. All right, now let's move through here. We have fixed costs now. Fixed costs are things that aren't going to change, like depreciation, equipment investment. Now, this is one that I factored into your example already. Instead of us looking at buying assets, or instead of looking at us borrowing money, basically the idea is if you go and get all the assets you need, you could either buy those, release those, borrow money on those, different ways of buying it. Lots of different ways you could go about that. So they just cut to the chase and say, however much money you put into that investment, we're just going to charge 6% as an opportunity cost of our money. We could have taken that money and done something else with it. So that's the cost. So what this is looking at is you'll need about $140 per cow in equipment. And that's going to be at an opportunity cost of 6%. So that's $8.45 per cow in money that's allocated to her. I'm going to give you that number in total in the other example, and then you'll get to what it is per animal. All right, then we're going to go through here and we get our total cost for fixed. Go ahead and add those two together. So our variable up there at 263, 403, that's going to give us 666 in total cost. Now, we've got a problem here. We were in good shape. We had, in fact, our returns right before fixed costs were 386. The trouble is our fixed costs cost us 403. That's going to put us at a loss of $17 per cow if we run this operation this way. So that's kind of what an enterprise budget does. It tells you about that. Also takes that total cost and looks at what it would cost to break even. So it takes all our 100 weights that we've been looking at up here that we can sell, and it divides it into what this total cost would be. And it's going to cost us basically $147.45 per 100. Go back and look at all these prices. We barely got it there. These others are all lower. So that kind of makes sense that we're probably going to be losing money, and we are. So if all these costs hold true, you run a cow-calf operation, no matter how many cows you have, really, it's going to be looking at a loss of $17 per cow, so that's not good. So you really start looking into your cost here to see if you could lower any of these, or you look at your revenue stream, can you raise any of those? So that's really the function of an enterprise budget, to help you analyze your business down to the per unit amount. All right, so you have on your page several resources. Go through these, watch the video. You'll learn more about enterprise budgets. There's also a set of terms that'll be great for me to use in the test. These terms are covered all through what I just talked about, plus that video. So make sure that you look at these terms and read these and understand each one. All right, now let's go to your homework. That's where the real work will begin. So I'm going to pull up a couple of files here. One is what you're given. So here's what I gave you in the week. Now what I gave you is going to be your same page that we've been looking at. On the resource page, I did a little bit of work here. I went ahead and totaled up how many head we think we're going to sell and how many pounds that is. So that's there for you to use as you may need it. The revenue and expense sheet, all of this is the same last updated file, but I added a tab called the enterprise budget. I even gave you a little area here at the top to enter base information we need. Now, you could get all of this from our sheet, but to help you out in the homework for the week, I laid out all of these assumptions right here. Now, what you're going to be in charge to do, I should back up and say, is you're going to look at the cost of production per head sold, or you're going to look at what it is per pound of production. So those are the two things that you're going to have to come up with. So an enterprise budget really has two analysis. You were looking at the cow-calf deal with me earlier. It was per cow. This is going to be per pound sold or per head sold. So that's like the animal unit. All right, now we're going to go through and also get me the minimum and break-even prices. Okay, so same stuff we saw in the video that you're doing here. But to make these assumptions, I've gone on here and done some work. So 70,000 pigs is what we're planning to sell. However, we have not factored in any death loss or refusal of shipping. Meaning that as we ship these hogs out, the one that's going to take these and buy them from us to process may call some back. They're too light. We may lose some in our feeder slab. So I put in maybe a pretty healthy, but a 5% potential loss. So that means we're not going to sell 70,000 animal units. We're going to sell less. You need to calculate that. Pounds sold, 18,200,000. Again, we're not going to sell them all. You're going to calculate based on that loss, and you're going to get a number. As far as what we're selling them for, we're selling them at 84 cents a pound as we did before, but on average, because we changed that a little bit, that's actually 83.57 per hundredweight. You're going to need that in your budget. Total tonnage of feed, looks like we're feeding 4,667 tons, and that's going to be something you're going to use. The dollar per ton price there can be calculated based on our cost. 320 is the medication, 640 is the supplies per head. We're buying 70,000 pigs in total now. We're buying them even though we lose some later, so that's not going to change. We're buying them at 100 pounds, and we're paying a price here in your budget, I think, is listed what we're paying for those. I may add that in here to help you. Then equipment, we're just looking at $10,995,000 worth of equipment, and we're going to use 6% as they did in the budget. And then you've got salaries, depreciation, repairs, you got some base cost. These are all right out of your cash flow budget. Now I'm giving you those, and so what you're getting is also a file that gives you a space to put all of that information. It also shows you some things you're going to need, like what is the death loss per hundredweight. So divide that by 100 and you'll get that. The average price that we're selling, I gave you the per hundredweight already. Feed, I'll give you the price per ton. And so these are all the different things you'll need. So that sheet tells you, put them in right here. Now, I've also gone ahead and organized the budget here below. I've also given you the unit so you kind of have a feel for what should go in each one. So pig sales are going to be whatever we said we think we're going to sell. I would put in the whole animal sold number. And then we're going to go through this. Now to help you out, instead of showing you how this works, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the answers. And that way you can follow this along. Okay, so here's all the values. We're looking at total amount of tons of feed. I actually have what the cost is in our income statement. And so all I did was take this feed cost and divide it into the tons that I told you we bought to come up with what we paid per ton. If you go through here, you've got lots of different formulas. Now, I did this all with zero loss. I'm going to show you the answers for zero loss because it may be easier for you to compare the answers that you get. And then we'll come back and plug that in as a formula because it's one that we need to have factored in. So here's what I did. So let's start with zero. So we go through here, we're selling 182,000 hundredweights, which is given to you. That's a hundredweight, and the price is given to you as well. So you just simply multiply those two together. That's what an enterprise totals. Now we're going to do how many animal units that is. So you just go over and take that number and divide it by the animal units of 70,000 animal units sold. And then 84 cents is going to be, again, what's that income divided by the pounds sold. Now, some may die. So what I did was I think it's easier to put that on a separate line. So percent estimated death loss. How many? Well, that's just a formula that I have written that's going to go take that amount of death loss that's right now zero and multiply it times the quantity, which is 70,000. So if I come in here and say that is a 5% death loss, then that's going to give you 9,100 is our quantity, and so that means we're only selling 172,900 hundredweights. And so that's kind of the answer that we would get there. So I'm going to go back and put that back to zero, so that line will be a formula that you have. So it's pretty easy to look at what we're selling and these formulas across the way. All right, let's go down to variable cost. Now, variable cost is going to be based on, again, the information given. So all of that is given up there. We are feeding that many tons. We are handling that many pigs at a price. We're buying them. We're also handling that many pigs and medicating them, and we're handling that many in supplies, and we are medicating those as well. All right, so this is how I would calculate those. All this is given, once again, quantity times price gives me that. Get a total there, and we go from there. Now let's go back and look at death loss. So if I go up there and put back in that 5% death loss, you can see it doesn't change this quantity. I didn't link these to be what we're going to not be able to sell. I linked these to what we're going to buy and take care of. We're going to lose them at some point, but from a management standpoint, that's the most conservative approach to take. All right, so let me go back up, get that back to zero so you can check your work, and then let's go through here. So going through and getting a total for that, this is easy. Per animal unit, just take that divided by, again, how many head we are feeding along the way. So all of that's done. What about pounds? Double click. It's going to be whatever that amount is divided by the total pounds that we plan to sell. In other words, not worried about the death loss because I'm having to feed and take care of these. Get a total all the way up. So what we're looking at here for every pig, looks like we're going to be spending $106 per pig or 41 cents a pound. All right, so now we've got returns above variable cost. That's just a simple formula that takes our revenue minus our variable cost, kind of like that gross margin, get the number there. Once again, take what that number is and add those two together, and then same thing on pounds. So it looks like when we're feeding hogs, we're getting $110 back per animal unit in profit above variable cost, or 43 cents a pound. So really we're spending 41 and getting 84. We're doubling our money here on the per pound value and the per head value. All right, let's go down and look at fixed cost. I've given you what I would consider those to be. These annual salaries, transportation. Transportation is just delivery no matter how many head I get. So here's the one that I wanted to show you. On equipment, I'm not looking at interest on a loan. I'm not looking at really whether I'm borrowing it or not paying for it. I've got depreciation in here, but this equipment money that I need, it's going to overall, on average, I could have taken that money and invested it and earned 6%. That's opportunity cost. So enterprise budgets typically just look at it that way because someone may pay all cash, someone may borrow, it's hard to tell. So they just come in and say, well, overall, it's going to cost me in my business $10,995 to run the whole operation. That's buildings, that's the feed system, that's the other assets that we need. Well, at 6% in our whole business, that's going to be $659,000. Well, that's $9.42 per animal, or that's 4 cents a pound. So the larger my operation is, I spread this out. The smaller I get, these costs are going to go up. So that's the idea with this operation. All right, I'm going to run through these costs, add them together just like we did before. I'm going to add the pounds together just like we did before. Oops, there. All right. And then we're going to come down to the next one, total of all costs. That's just simply going to be adding the two total dollars, which this is pretty similar. Let's go back to our income statement. 10,075,000. That's cost of goods sold in operation. So we're looking at nearly about the same cost that we have in our projected budget. So that kind of helps check our work. So what's it cost us per animal unit? About $153. Go look. It's easy to see. We're going to make money. $217 per animal unit is what we're selling them for. So if we're spending $153 to get them there, that's good. 59 cents a pound. That's great because we're getting 84 cents a pound for them on average. And that's going to be that 83.57 per 100. Divide it by 100, you're going to end up at that value anyway. So that also makes sense. So bottom line, if you were to run your budget with no death loss, we're looking at about $4.458 million in profit. That's $63 per pig, or that's 24 cents a pound as we sell them. Now let's jump back to our income statement. We're projecting, looking at making about 458. This says we're making about 4.36. So what's the difference in there? Well, it probably has to do with we had some cost in here like interest expense. And so this is something we're not going to have. We also had big transportation fee. Wait, that's still there. Oh, tractor cost. There it is. We didn't have that fee. That's kind of all of our equipment and the way we handled it. And I took that out and said that is going to be all considered to be in that number there. So we're a little bit different in our budget, but our cash flow budget. But our enterprise budget's done a little bit differently. So, but they make sense. So it's not very far off. All right, now what would that be? Well, if you look at the break even, that's going to be whatever your total cost was right there. Your per 100 is going to be, that's 59 cents, but that's just multiplied times 100 to get 100 weight. So it depends on the language you're using. Minimum price, that's going to be variable cost, and so that's that number right there. That's 41 cents a pound. Again, that's $41 per 100 weight. So this is what I want you to do here at the bottom. Now your homework gives you the structure. You just got to fill the holes in. So what does this look like if you don't have any death loss? About $4.458 million. $63 per head, 24 cents a pound. Now, probably easier to do without death loss being factored in. But now that we have this done, it's only affecting this line right here. But let's go back and see what happens if I put in the 5% like I gave you in the homework. All right, now that adjusts, that takes away. So what I did is we're not going to sell that many hundredweights. We're going to lose 5% of that. That's going to be whatever my revenue is, I'm going to lose 5% of that. And then whatever my animal unit is, I'm going to lose 5% of that. And I put a little negative in front of it to make the formula work. And then whatever I thought I was going to get per pound, I'm going to lose 5% of that. And then you just come down there and total those values. Everything else is pretty much the same, or it is the same. It's just going to go through and factor that. So after you get death loss in, we, of course, are going to be now at $3.697 million, $52 per head in profit and 20 cents. So it didn't really kill us, but it may be something we want to factor in. In fact, if you get things like something really catastrophic that takes place, maybe a disease that hits us, 45% death loss would be huge. We lost a large portion. That's going to cause us to actually start losing money. In fact, you can play with this a little bit, kind of a what-if analysis. What would a 20% death loss do to us? And so you can kind of start to calculate and see that we can still make money with a 20% death loss. We get to a 30% death loss, and you can see we're starting to finally lose money here on this. So we got to really worry about death loss. 5% is your number, and so I've given you those answers, which are right there again. All right, so hopefully this helps you in this week's homework. Hopefully this helps you understand what an enterprise budget is. Let me know if you have questions, and I can get online even and look at your Excel spreadsheet with you if you have internet access, or you can give me an email, and I'll try to help you. If you do that, attach your file so I can take a look. Anyway, this is due the same normal time on Friday at noon, so hopefully this video helps you quickly get through this and learn about enterprise budgets. Thanks.